Hi, I'm Rebecca, and I am here to share with you my own personal journey and experiences to maybe help others who are going through something very similar or who have gone through something very similar. I will be discussing today sleep paralysis and what it is and how you can move through it. I will also be discussing today darker energies, entities, demons that have a tendency to play a role in some of these experiences that people have, including me. And I will talk about how you move through that, and as well as the actual outer body experience, leaving the body, how you can do that, and then what's next from there. So what is sleep paralysis? Sleep paralysis is where your body is completely paralyzed. You cannot move it, but you are consciously awake. It is absolutely terrifying if you have never had that experience before. Typically, sometimes what happens during sleep paralysis is you might have an interaction with a darker energy, an entity, a demon. It's not a very uncommon thing to happen. Some people I've heard this energy will pick them up and throw them around a room. Sometimes this energy will hold you down. And in my experience, I was being held down. And it actually took several attempts of slipping into sleep paralysis and having this interaction where I finally asked the demon, "What is it that you want with me?" And the demon said reflective mirroring. So moving forward, it took me many months for me to figure out what reflective mirroring meant. And it basically meant that it was reflecting my subconscious fears. So I knew at that point that if I was the creator of this demon, I could also be the one to destroy it. If you do have this type of experience where you are up against an energy, a demon, an entity of some type, what is recommended and what I did is that you have to go into your own personal power, your own sovereignty. And it took me a while to recognize how powerful we are as souls, as humans. And I know that's been taken away from us forever, ever ago. The thing is, nothing can actually hurt you. You give your power away to them, and that's when they can do things that are scary and evil. So what you have to do is you have to go into your personal power. In my experience, when I came against this demon one more time, or darker entity, I knew what I needed to do. And in that moment, I got really, really big, and I told it that it's going to stop right now. It has no business being here, and that you need to leave. And so I literally picked it up and casted it out my window. And that was a relief because I've never had this experience since then, and everything's been fine. And anytime, because I am super sensitive, and so I do feel other energies a lot. I have had some medium type experiences with souls on the other side. A lot of times, people that are going to be watching this video probably have similar experiences. And if you don't know this already, that nothing can touch you as long as you don't give your power away for it to touch you. After overcoming the fear of the entity, I was later on still having sleep paralysis, and I was able to control it by stopping the sleep paralysis before anything else happened. Later on, I learned that sleep paralysis is actually a precursor to an outer body experience. I eventually applied the theory that if I was to not stop the sleep paralysis, learn to overcome the fear of death, and relax into the experience when the sensations came up that would lead me into sleep paralysis, then I was able to actually leave my body. So I was able to actually apply all that information. And one night, I started getting the sensations of going into sleep paralysis, which is a vibrating, buzzy feeling. And instead of stopping it or going into fear, I decided to see what was on the other side of that. I told myself to relax, to allow, just to soften. And as I did that, I literally slipped right out of my body. And that's the key factor, is that when you are having those buzzy, vibrating sensations, the best thing that you can do is just learn to relax into it. Now, they say it's because you have to overcome the fear of death, which is understandable because it's such an animal instinct in our human experience. We're afraid of the unknown. And when you're slipping out of your body and you're having sensations that are definitely an unusual experience, it will put you into a fear response. It will put you into a fear state. And that's why overcoming the fear of death is part of this experience. So moving forward, after I had slipped out of my body, I had already understood that if I looked at my body, it might put me in that fear response to go right back into it. So I chose not to look at my body, and I was able to move through my bedroom door, as you can see right behind me. That is the door that I moved through, as well as I moved through my front door. Now, with this experience, I was quite surprised to see that I had feet and hands and a whole body. I did not realize that the soul will hang on to the imprint of your human body. I also wanted to measure my experience by memorizing everything in my environment outside of my house. So I was looking at the color of the cars, where they were parked, all the different details around me. And then I knew with the thought alone that I could actually fly. So I flew straight up into the atmosphere. I was going way too fast. I stopped, went sideways, flew too fast, went through a wormhole, went into a different parallel reality, which I don't know if it's future or just, like I said, parallel, where everything's happening all at once. But being in this parallel reality or future reality, I was able to see family and friends in a different timeline, a different place, a different house I didn't recognize. I wasn't there very long before I had actually came back to my body in my bedroom. And that is where I had an experience with extraterrestrial beings. They were blue, tall beings, about 7 to 8 feet tall, 3 on each side of my bed, had me elevated above my bed, and I had asked them what they were doing. I actually felt really calm. I felt very safe. And they told me that they were upgrading my DNA. And apparently that was good enough for me. So after that experience, I woke up and it was daylight. The birds were chirping. It was just a whole nother day. So that has actually been my experience with sleep paralysis, overcoming the fear of death and entity, and being able to have a whole galactic experience just because I chose to go into the unknown. I would say through this experience, what I have learned is, one, to understand and overcome unconscious fears. 2, is to trust the process and learn to stand in your sovereignty, your personal power, your personal authority. 3rd, I would say it is to relax, step into the unknown, and overcome the fear of death. Thanks for making it through the video, and I hope that this helped anybody that might be going through the experience or has gone through the experience. And if you know somebody, share it too. But I look forward to making more videos in the future, and I am just grateful that we now have these platforms that can help spread the word and normalize things that are very much part of our reality. So, thank you.